have my original boys club card from when I was a kid. We were talking about this before. I'm going to get these. We're going to get ones made so you can join the boys club too. Hopefully that doesn't have like my social security number on it. Okay.
I will say I was a YMCA kid. So it was, that was when I was growing up.
Yeah, I went to the Y for summer camp one year, and I was so much. I liked the boys. Well, it was the Boys and Girls Club, but we were old school, and it still just said the Boys Club on the outside of the building. So forever, it's just the Boys Club to me.
Actually, I think this is a great kickoff if we're talking stories. I always like chatting about stuff like this with you. You talk summer camp, so. What's your favorite summer camp memory, man? I got plenty. And we had a place called Camp Tecumseh out in Indiana. Yeah. Wonderful spot. Was very much later on learning very much a more Christian focused one, the more I thought back on like some of the stuff. But like it was a blast. It's a freaking blast. Like some awesome childhood memories growing up.
You know, I'm trying to think back. So I would say I never went to summer camp in the traditional sense where you get the cool summer camp where you're in the woods, you're camping out, you're either in a cabin or a tent. Although I've been camping, but not with like a summer camp. In regard to the type of summer camp I would go to is more like it was like a daycare. That's the best way to put it. Drop off your kid isn't too young, but they're not old enough child. Between like 11 and 13, dump them off at the Y. Sometimes they take you to the beach. Sometimes you just swim in the I can tell. I'll tell you this. It doesn't matter what Y you're in. The pool smells the same. So you know what I'm talking about.
True. Yes.
Or you're just locked in like the little schoolyard area or the playground area. So that wasn't as fun. But I'll tell you this, the boys club, my parents, and this is probably why I ended up getting stuck at the Y, because the boys club, were you supposed to come and go freely? No. Did we? Yes. And nobody said anything. So we would, like, me and my friends, we would show up, we'd play some pool, maybe some video games. I was in T-ball for a couple summers, but my favorite memories were what we would actually do is like sneak away from the boys club. Imagine being like 8. I got the good old days. The good old days.
A youngish lad.
8 to like 11, 13, in the prime ages of just having some boys fun. And so one of the things we would do is we would drive around the neighborhood after garbage day and find all of the garbage cans. And again, this is in the good old days where this is just as the rubber and plastic garbage bins were coming around. So there's still a lot of metal garbage cans. Like the shiny, you kick them, ding, 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 and they're making a lot of noise. And so what we would do is ride our bikes around the neighborhood and just kick down garbage cans. And we would do this so much that it became a thing with the garbage people that they caught on to what we were doing.
Yeah.
To where they started stacking up the garbage cans. So it would be like pyramids of garbage cans when you go down the block, kick them down, or they would still be on the thing like, go, 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 we got this one set up. And it's so funny the difference though, because the garbage men, this is like their favorite part of the day. Whereas the people coming home from work that would catch us in the act of just drilling their garbage cans all over. Because again, the plastic rubber ones, they're going to bend right back.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
Those metal ones, though, we're leaving big ass dents in these bad boys. And they're flying, man. They're like just going. So that was fun. We never really I was never the bad one of the group, but I will say there was some stories where I tapped out. I said, nope, I'm not that bad. One of which, I can't remember what my friends were doing, but they were doing something they shouldn't have been by somebody's fence. And young me was like, this feels like something bad's going to happen. I'm going back to the boys club. Sure as shit. Something happened where one of the friends ended up going through the fence. Ooh. So like, it was like one of those panel fences. So it was like I don't know what plywood, I guess, and it's missing like 3 of these panels. Granted, the cops got called, this and that. So those, again, I grew up in Metro Detroit. Those are the things that we had fun, going through abandoned buildings, but that was a little bit later.
that was
probably around 16 and up. Mm-hmm. Summer camp was fun though. I do missing like, you have like a different friend group over the summer.
Yes.
Sometimes you meet up with them again the next year. Sometimes you never see them again.
I think Facebook for me, it's interesting because like I had that whole thing where like, yeah, we had a great time at summer camp, and like it was at the time when Facebook was just getting big. When I was as a kid, like let's link up as friends on Facebook. And it's funny, I go on my Facebook friends list anymore. There's one person I say I think I kind of still keep up with. The others I'm like, what is your life has changed a lot. What are you doing? Yeah. Who is this guy? What did he look like when I was younger? I'll just still keep him as a friend. Screw it. I guess I don't know. I guess I'll just.
I have a lot of friends like that. I feel like I am the friend that you're talking about to most people, though. They probably look at him and they're like, "What is bro doing? He's wearing dude's in his 40s wearing a ref shirt, talking about whatever we're talking about at the moment." Yeah, but no, I get it, dude. Good times, man. The boys club, the Y. Wouldn't it be great to just turn back time and have like, you didn't need to care anymore.
Yeah.
It was in the summertime. You get to play your game for a whole week.
We had this debate at work, and it feels like when we go in and there's a specific like section of my job where like if you get assigned this specific part of the place, we kind of can like be isolated and almost it's like our own room. Almost like I would call it our own boys club of sorts. Or whoever's there. We just shoot the shit and whatnot, but most of my shift's guys, so it's really that. But we'll like it's almost like these political debates or like debates on certain things about life and society. And one of the things that came up recently was, would you trust your kid? And it was called the run of the milk store test or run to the grocery store test, where it's like, would you trust your kid to walk to the grocery store unaccompanied by themselves in 2026? And in my head, like I originally said, think about my neighborhood, which is just an apartment complex. I see kids running around all the time and they're having a good time doing their thing. I'm like, yeah, I think so. And then we started debating. It's like, okay, maybe not. Maybe things have changed a bit, and I think there's a lot of societal stuff with that. Because like you and I know there's a bit of a gap with you and I in age, but even like me, I grew up I was born mid 90s, early 2000s and stuff. I had the cul-de-sac experience as a kid. I would leave the house. My parents, it's like, hey, just come back by this time for dinner, and me and my brother would just go F off with the neighborhood kids and do whatever shit, ride bikes, go explore the woods around our houses or whatnot, and get into some wacky stuff. And it's just like, the more I think about it, it's like, yeah, kind of society kind of doesn't feel like that's a thing that happens as much anymore. Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem like that's projected as much anymore. I think it's, I feel like you think the same way. I mean, you're like 80s, 90s. So like you definitely were in that era for sure.
Oh, it's almost a different world. Now I will say there is glimmers of hope out there. For instance, in my neighborhood. Now granted, my neighborhood's not a great example. I'm off kind of like, it's like, what's that movie where Pleasantville? It's almost like that, where they go back. It's not like Pleasantville, but it's not of its time. It feels like sometimes. For instance, we have, I'm going to call it a gully. It's not a gully. It's those big tracts of land in between where they put like the utilities, the easement. We have an easement that goes like, it's pretty wide, it's pretty long, but it goes like, it's like a little, almost like a half pipe. It's not a half pipe.
Okay. Like a big
it's a little gully down. Yeah, kind of. So, dude, since Christmas though, there has been just a pack of kids that go out to this easement after school with their bikes and their little electric scooters, and they just try to ramp that thing up. And I love it. And now
awesome.
I think it's so funny, as it's good, because there's an old lady that lives next door to her, lives right next door. And I actually watched this and watched it happen. I was driving home and they did a big jump and then they drove across her driveway. I was like, nope, they're going to get in trouble for that one. That lady is going to complain. And sure as shit, I don't know, like an hour or two on Facebook. Of course. We have a Facebook neighborhood page, and this lady's like, don't get me wrong. I love seeing kids outside the house, but don't they have respect for people's driveways? And I was like, listen, lady, in the day and age where we're at, we should be paying those kids money to go influence other kids to go spend time outside. Now, I'll tell you this.
Yes.
I would say if you just go outside nicely and say, hey, kids, I love what you're doing, but watch my driveway. Half of them might say something smart ass. I'm not going to lie. But the other half, they're going to listen. And you know what? and I'm going to give the old lady advice here. I know what works. I was a piece of shit kid. Bring out some cookies, bring out a lemonade, do something. Be like, hey, here you go. Do you mind something? If you give them you know what? Give them a nickel. These are kids. They're going to be like, oh, look at something shiny. Nonetheless, I love seeing kids having fun.
Knowing kids, they might be like, why the hell am I getting 5 cents? What can I do with 5 cents?
I know. Sooner or later, it'll be like the penny. It'll be gone. It won't even matter.
It'd be more like a bribe. Can I have like $5? Can I have $5? Yeah. $1 doesn't even go far anymore. Can I get 5, please?
I know. Yeah, you can't even use $1 at the dollar store. That's a truth. That's a fact.
That's unreal though. But yeah, man. I mean, that was a debate at work that I was, and we have some great talks at work like that. But like that was one where it's like, yeah, that's a good point, But I'm glad that like there are still places I imagine that happens, but it feels like that's like, and part of it's internet culture, part of it's discussion around it, and like more talk about things and more pointed things in like media and coverage. And I feel like that kind of just plays into that, where it's like that's a decline, maybe not fully gone, because I agree, like your neighborhood, no, that's the type of neighborhood I grew up in a little bit, but like maybe not as like I would say higher end in some way houses. Ours was like more like classic middle class, like neighborhood with cul-de-sacs and all that. But like, it's not fully gone, but it's definitely waning is how I've thought about it,